Greetings from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, home of 7 of 9 national museums that hold the evidence and tell the stories of art, history, immigration, human rights, science and innovation, and nature. I'm delighted to be speaking with you digitally today about the sustainability of natural history museums in today's ever-changing world. My name is Meg Beckel, and I am the recently retired CEO of the Canadian Museum of Nature. My remarks will focus on some personal reflections on what I believe is essential to being a sustainable natural history museum in a 21st century global context. Many natural history museums were created in the late 18th century, each one formed with an important mandate to inspire respect and understanding of the natural world. While the mandate hasn't changed, the world around us has. In this century, nature is more important and more challenged than ever. In some ways, it is more accessible, and in others, more daunting and remote. And it's now the focus of a multitude of international organizations and groups, all of whom share an interest in its possibilities. No longer just a place, nature is an experience that is both intensely private and vitally public. More than ever, we need to inform a shared understanding. More need, more opportunity, more players, more reasons to build a new respect and understanding of nature. In new ways, never before imagined. I believe that this new world means a vital future for natural history museums where people can be inspired by natural history, connected to nature, and exploring our natural future. So let's start with who we serve. We serve people, our visitors, and colleagues who need a trusted and inspiring source of understanding about the natural world and about the nature of our world. Let's also remind ourselves of the value we deliver as a collections-based research source of evidence-based insights, inspiring experiences, and real engagement with nature's past, present, and potential future. Let's consider how we are different. As a resource for expert narratives, powerful dialogue and debate, and dynamic personal experiences that enable people to connect to and understand nature in vital ways through our leading researchers, our extraordinary collections and chronicles, our powerful partnerships, and accessibility through places and multiple touch points. And finally, let's consider the promise we make to those who connect with our museum, the promise to explore our natural future by understanding natural history and connecting with nature. Now, COVID-19 has increased the profile and importance of science and evidence-based decision-making. This provides an opportunity and an obligation for museums to step up and play a more relevant and vital role in a country's social and economic recovery. Dynamic change is required to seize opportunities in the museum's research, its collections management, and public engagement activities. Environmental trends of climate change and biodiversity loss will increase the value of the museum's mandate over any planning period, but the museum needs to continue to adapt significantly to deliver. The ability to invest in change will be conditioned by the museum's financial framework, which demands continuing to develop new sources of revenue and efficiencies in order to sustain its operations. At the highest level, the mission of natural history museums around the world is nothing less than to support the making of the vision of a sustainable natural future a reality. As current trends of climate change, habitat loss, mass species extinctions, and their causal factors run counter to this vision, the museum's mission is one of inspiring change. Natural history museums are an instrument, one of many working in concert within the scientific community for providing the foundation required to foster the change required to save the world. It is a foundation built on evidence, knowledge, and inspiration, which are the mainstays of our work. As we all know, there are three pillars that support natural history museums: collections, research, and education. These have not changed over time. Our question today is what to do next to leverage those pillars to address the issues of today. For natural history museums, addressing the triple threat of climate change, biodiversity loss, and low scientific literacy. Now, what do I mean by evidence? Well, the collections of specimens we hold, preserve, and share. And knowledge, the understanding derived from research and discovery. And inspiration, education, and engagement with the many publics we serve and connect with, who have the power to change our natural future. These three pillars represent what we do. Sustainability is not just about what we do, it is even more about how we do it. So how we fulfill our missions is key to remaining sustainable in a globally connected world with many sources of information and entertainment. For me, the how should focus on three things: relevance, collaboration, and connection. Now, you will note I seem to stick with three things. For me, it keeps it simple, and for all of us, it's easy to remember. So, relevance is really about connecting the stories of nature's history to the reality of today and the possibility of tomorrow, which I believe is key for any museum that hopes to inspire visitation and funding. Collaboration. None of us can do this alone, especially in the realm of scientific research. And connection. Connecting with visitors, partners, policymakers, funders, and decision makers, which is now local, it's regional, it's national, and it's global due to the digital technologies available today. Connection is all about sharing the knowledge derived from the study of the evidence in our collections in an inspiring and impactful way. So let's talk about relevance. An example from the Canadian Museum of Nature. The Arctic Initiative at the Canadian Museum of Nature aims to increase understanding of the impacts of climate change on the environment. So why the Arctic? Well, the changes to the environment in the Arctic represent the single most significant natural history event of our lifetime. It is current, it is compelling, and highly relevant. Now, the initiative has a few components: an Arctic festival of food, fashion, and science. The festival has evolved since it was first launched in 2013, really depending on the visitor interests, partner interests, and sponsorship. We used the first festival to test the theme with on-site visitors to ensure that the content connected with our visitors. A second component, a mid-sized traveling exhibit for visitors beyond our walls to test the theme with other museums and their audiences. Arctic Voices, as it's called, was co-created with Science North, who continue to travel this exhibit around the world as a demonstration of its continued relevance and resonance. A research center of excellence has created a mechanism for advancing, sharing, and leveraging museum research locally, nationally, and globally through fieldwork, lab work, student training, publications, and collaboration. An Arctic digital portal, providing access to all Arctic content, collections, and experts, including digitization of the collection hosted on the museum's website, nature.ca, and on the Global Biodiversity information facility hosted in Copenhagen. And a permanent gallery about the Arctic, which incorporates the learnings from the visitor response to the Arctic Festival, to the traveling exhibit, and to the research forums into a gallery about the past, the present, and the potential future of the Arctic. And finally, the final component, digital and physical real-time connections to colleagues through conferences such as the Arctic Science Summit Week and working groups such as the Conservation of Arctic Flora and Fauna Working Group with the Arctic Council, and shared digital and knowledge portals such as the Arctic Portal, hosted in Iceland. Next example, let's look at collaboration. Species Discovery Initiative at the Canadian Museum of Nature aims to create species knowledge that contributes to understanding the impact of biodiversity loss on the planet. One component is scientific research at the Beatty Centre for Species Discovery. Understanding how species have changed, evolved, gone extinct, or adapted is key to making species discovery relevant to people and can only be done in collaboration with colleagues in museums, universities, governments, NGOs, and industry. Second component, public programming, which informs and inspires interest in the natural world by showcasing the collection in contexts that are beautiful, digital, engaging, current, and real. Programming with partners enables the museum to lower costs while reaching new audiences locally, nationally, and globally. And digital technologies makes it possible. Now, a specific example, Nature Ideas, which hosts in-person and digital talks with museum and collaborator experts. Nature Nocturne is a night at the museum for adults interested in learning about nature while having some fun. Nature Schools involves on-site and virtual classroom experiences hosted by our museum educators. Now, the final element in this initiative is Collections Online, a digital hub that connects anyone to the natural history collection, images, nature art, and to digitized nature knowledge. Collections Online is also published on the Global Biodiversity Information Facility, which in 1 year triggered over 1 billion digital downloads and retrievals. Next example, connection. Natural history museums must constantly demonstrate their value to funders, visitors, partners, and stakeholders. To be sustainable, we must fearlessly share what we have, what we know, and be willing to welcome new ways of knowing and seeing the world around us. Beyond the visitor experience, with exhibits and programs, we now have digital engagement on site through ticketing, parking, membership, digital labels, visitor surveys, people counters, and wayfinding. Beyond a traveling exhibit, off-site experiences now involve collection loans, research forums, digitized collections on GBEF, publications, public talks, bioblitzes, conferences, global forums such as COP, IUCN, and the Arctic Science Summit Week. Beyond the website, online experiences now involve Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Pinterest, AR, VR, and digital versions of everything noted above. Beyond our own research, we embrace indigenous ways of knowing and seeing nature's past and present, which is essential connecting with the multiple ways of knowing and seeing and the peoples responsible for sharing those ways. As natural history museums, we can each connect with millions. Our challenge is to connect in a meaningful, engaging, and impactful way. So to wrap up, natural history museums have a vital role to play in our quest to tell the story of nature's past and present so that we inspire a desire to create a more sustainable natural future. Our work is important. It is future-oriented. It is science-based. It is urgent. And it is hopeful. We know that the work is important. However, our funders need to be assured that we remain focused on why we exist, what our focus is, and how we fulfill our mandate. The why, for a sustainable natural future. The what, to inspire understanding and respect for nature with evidence, knowledge, and inspiration. The how, we must remain relevant to those we serve, collaborative, since we cannot possibly do it alone, and connected to the visitors, colleagues, public policymakers, and stakeholders who need us. In closing, I realize this forum is focused on the opportunities that technology provides natural history museums. Technology provides new tools to do what we do. It provides tools for our work, platforms for collaboration, and communication touchpoints for our visitors. It will not replace why we exist, what we do, nor will it change our need to be relevant, collaborative, and connected to those we hope to inform and inspire by leveraging the evidence in our collections, the knowledge derived from our research, and the inspiration we deliver through our programming. It is simple and it's important. Thank you for doing what you do. It matters. Thank you.